this tutorial, we will learn more about how to implement audio assets authored in Atomcraft within a Unity project. Before going further, make sure you watched our previous tutorial on how to install and integrate the Cryware SDK with Unity. In that previous tutorial, we saw two ways to add a CryAtom source to your scene, adding it as a game object itself or as a component to an existing game object. We will now do the latter. First, select a game object in the hierarchy view. Go to the Cry menu in the Unity menu bar and select Open CryAtom window. The CryAtom window appears. In the Cue Sheet section, select a cue sheet and then choose a cue. Finally, click on the Add Component button. A CryAtom source component appears in the inspector pane. The name of the cue sheet and the name of the cue can be found there. If we check the Play on Start checkbox, the audio will be played as soon as the game is started. Here, we can change the volume and the pitch. Make it loop and define if it is a 3D sound object. To hear our 3D sound properly in a 3D environment, we need to add a listener by adding a CryAtom listener. Usually the CryAtom listener component will be added to the main camera. Let's do this. First, select the main camera game object in the hierarchy view. Go to the inspector pane and click on Add Component. Choose Cryware. And then click on CryAtom Listener. We now have a listener and a 3D sound object. If we play the scene, we will hear the sound based on its 3D positioning relative to the camera. All this without writing a single line of code. We could also add a script to the game object to control the sound playback. For example, select the game object in the hierarchy view. Right-click in the project view to create a C script. Let's rename the file to cueplay.cs. Now drag and drop the script onto the cube in the hierarchy view to add it to the game object. The script appears in the inspector pane for this game object. Start mono-develop and modify cueplay.cs. Let's paste my code here. In this script, we define what should happen when the mouse button is clicked. First, we get the CryAtom source component assigned to the object. Then, the cue specified for this CryAtom source is played. Now, if we play the scene and click on the cube in the middle of the scene, the cue will play. Let's hear it. Of course, you can also call the many functions of the Cryware SDK from the scripts, which will allow you to send ASAC values to your cues, modify category volumes, and so on. For example, here's the code of the Sound Manager class used by Ringo Attack, the sample game provided with the Cryware SDK for Unity. Here, you can see how we get the list of cues, play and pause a specific cue, change an ASAC value based on distance, and modify the volumes of all the effects or all the music tracks at once using categories. Notice how everything is done in just a few lines. Implementing sound in your Unity game project using the Cryware SDK and ADX2 in particular is very easy.